Hello friends, welcome to the current affairs analysis for 24th February 2020. United States President Mr. Donald Trump has started his journey to India and he will be in India for the next 2 days. So let us discuss some of the important points. Although we will just be taking a cursory glance at it because we will be apprised of the final agreement only once those agreements are signed. But let us see what all is expected from this visit. So a trade deal is expected. However, it is highly unlikely as the US sources have pointed out. So there are the tensions between India and United States at present over the trade deal. Then there is issue of Harley Davidson bikes on which India used to impose 100% import duty, but now it has already reduced it to 50%. Still, the United States wants India to reduce the duty further. We already talked about these issues in a previous video. Then there are issues of agriculture subsidy that India provides and various checks and blockings that India imposes on any agriculture imports to protect its domestic sector. Then there are subsidies and cost cuts or price cuts by the Indian government on the pharmaceutical companies and medical device manufacturers. So there will also be a agreement on that. Also, India has agreed to purchase helicopters, defense helicopters from the United States of America. So all these things we'll see in the next 2 days. Also on the table is a plan to counter China's Belt and Road Initiative. First of all, let's understand what is Belt and Road Initiative, also called One Belt, One Road Initiative. This is basically a plan to build massive infrastructure throughout three continents of Asia, Europe, and Africa. So, under this Belt and Road Initiative, China in 2013 announced it, and it has taken on board scores of countries, and it is building massive infrastructure in the form of highways, expressways, high speed trains, fiber optic cable network, gas pipelines, crude oil pipelines, and etc. So even sea lanes of communication shipping lanes are also being developed. So under Belt and Road Initiative, China is trying to mark a global footprint and to show the world that it is the next global superpower in the 21st century. So this is seen by some countries as a ploy or a tactic to counter the United States of America. And the US, in response to Belt and Road Initiative, is now trying to pitch a Blue Dot network. So what is a Blue Dot network? It is a new proposal to cover infrastructure and development projects across the region and other countries. So it is a multi-stakeholder initiative. It will bring together three types of stakeholders. First will be the governments, second will be the private sector, and third will be the civil society. So that will be aimed at promoting high quality and trusted standards for global infrastructure development. Basically, all this is just flowery language. The main purpose of Blue Dot Network is to counter the rising Chinese influence in this part of the world. And this also reflects US's strategy of Indo-Pacific. So what is Indo-Pacific? It is a new region that has been named by United States of America, and it combines all the geopolitical area from the Indian Ocean to the Pacific Ocean. So from the east coast of Africa till the west coast of North America and South America, the entire Indian Ocean and the Pacific Ocean is the Indo-Pacific region. So in this region, United States of America is trying to increase its influence, and India is a significant partner as far as Indo-Pacific is concerned, because in the Indian Ocean, India has a huge coastline and a large force projection capability. So that makes India a significant stakeholder in this concept. The visit is also expected to push up a move to set up 6 nuclear reactors in Kovada in eastern coast of Andhra Pradesh. So an agreement is likely to be signed between India and the Westinghouse Electric Company, which is a Pittsburgh based company in United States of America. So Such deal is expected to be signed, and 6 AP1000 reactor units of 1208 megawatts each is expected to be set up in Andhra Pradesh. But right now, some modalities are being worked out because the Department of Atomic Energy, in consultation with Atomic Energy Commission, have to amend some laws for FDI policy in the atomic energy sector, because currently the atomic energy sector is in a list of prohibited sectors where FDI is not allowed. But for this deal to go through, such an exception has to be carved out. And the reactors that will be set up will be the type of light water reactors, the same that we have seen in the Kudankulam nuclear power plant, which we have set up in collaboration with Russia. So there also water is used both as a coolant as well as a moderator. And the initial agreement to build these 6 reactors was signed in 2016, which was a follow-up from the Indo-US Civil Nuclear Agreement in 2008. So that was a very significant agreement between India and US, where both these countries agreed to sign a civil nuclear agreement. So the nuclear power push comes amid the government's plans to triple the country's nuclear capacity by 2024 to lower the contribution of fossil fuels in India's energy mix alongside a pronounced renewable energy push. So let us see what is INDC here in this context. So INDC is intended nationally determined contributions, and these contributions are under the Paris Pact or Paris Agreement on Climate Change. So under this, India has determined that by the year 2030, 40% of its total energy mix will come from non-fossil fuel based sources. And under that target, solar energy, wind energy, and nuclear energy are the 3 major components. So if India sets up these nuclear reactors, it will move towards a fossil fuel free world. Then in another passing news, India and China have sparred over export curbs on medical products. So China has been demanding that India send some of its medical equipments or medical gear to China to control the spread of coronavirus. But India has expressed its concern. India has said that some restrictions have been imposed on export of certain medical equipment in view of the fact that these items are in short supply in India as well. So if something is in short supply in India, how can India export that item to another country? So just like any other country, India with a billion plus population has the responsibility to take on necessary measures to combat the spread of coronavirus. So this is just a minor issue. Coronavirus, just like we talked about in previous videos, is a zoonotic infection which spreads from animals to human beings, and it has killed more than 2200 people in China, and around 1 lakh people have been detected with this virus. Another positive news, where the Pradhan Mantri Ujjwala Yojana, under which the free LPG connections were provided to more than 8 crore women throughout India, has proved to be a success, and Himachal Pradesh has been declared the first state in India to achieve 100% LPG coverage. Although this figure may not be entirely true, but it is not totally false as well. So the coverage under this scheme is already more than 99%. So when center government launched the Pradhan Mantri Ujjwala Yojana, it was consolidated, it was complemented by the state government's own Himachal Grahini Suvidha Yojana in May 2018. So this scheme was launched to cover the remaining households. So under this scheme, under the collaborative efforts of both these schemes, Himachal Pradesh has become the first state to achieve the 100% LPG coverage. Let us see a question. Which ministry is the nodal agency for implementation of Pradhan Mantri Ujjwala Yojana? Now let us see, under Pradhan Mantri Ujjwala Yojana, LPG connections are distributed. So let us see, liquefied petroleum gas cylinder distribution is closer to which ministry? It can be Ministry of Finance, it can be Ministry of Renewable Energy as well, it can be Ministry of Petroleum and Natural Gas, or Social Justice as well, because this is a form of social justice. So these are very confusing choices which you will find in the exam as well. So the answer is Ministry of Petroleum and Natural Gas. So this is the nodal ministry as far as Pradhan Mantri Ujjwala Yojana is concerned. In another positive news, the foreign exchange reserves of India have touched a new high on steady foreign portfolio investor investments and coronavirus led crude oil price slide. So there are basically three factors that have raised the foreign exchange reserves of India. So they are at a all-time high of $476.09 billion, which is a massive sum. So let us see the steps that were taken by India. The first step was corporate tax rate cut. So when the corporate taxes were cut from 30% to 22%, the foreign portfolio investors, their sentiment improved in India and they have started pumping more money. So since that announcement of cutting corporate tax rates, more than 77,000 crore rupees have been pumped into Indian capital markets. So that has also up the investor sentiment. The second reason is the crude oil prices have been going down because of the coronavirus infection. So due to that, the productivity is low, the fuel demand is low, and that is why the prices are also going down. Especially because China is a workhorse, and since the virus has spread in China and it has impacted the global crude oil prices everywhere. So that is another reason. Because of the total import bill of India, around 25% is only from the crude oil. So if for every 100 rupees we spend on our imports, 25 rupees goes to the crude oil imports. So any reduction in crude oil prices significantly limits our outflow of money on imports. So that is a positive development for India. And because of that, Indian foreign exchange reserves have seen a surge of $47.5 billion. So this is a significant news. So these two news coupled have taken Indian forex reserves to an all-time high. And let us not forget that Reserve Bank of India is the nodal agency for managing the foreign exchange reserves. Thank you everyone. This has been the news analysis for 24th February 2020.